Hello and welcome to the Physiology of Endurance Running podcast, Road to Valencia. 8 weeks to go. I'm Owain. I'm joined this week by Jenny Long. How's it going, Jen?
It's all good. I'm still getting used to the new surname. I have messed up a few times. Don't
I'm,
think the husband will approve, but
it changed quick on Strava.
yeah, that was the first one to get the update. And then I had to like figure out what the new Instagram handle was going to be, and not unsurprisingly, Jenny Long was already taken. So
Oh, need to pay someone to get that Insta
yeah,
handle.
but yeah, Strava was the first to get the update.
Like the first before even the actual official important stuff.
Oh yeah. Literally, as soon as I had my phone on me after the wedding, I was like, right, straight to Strava, let's go.
Straight on the dance floor, updating
Yeah,
Strava.
yeah.
Um, so I guess again, like last week, anyone watching will notice this time that Dan isn't with us. He is in sunny Mallorca, I
Yeah, I think
think.
that's where he is.
He's
Yeah,
in
yeah.
he's in Mallorca. He's not been able to join us tonight. We thought we might be able to make it work, but we haven't. So he will update us on his training. I guess next week he'll go through a couple of weeks worth. But we have a couple of weeks to catch up with Jen.
Love you
Yeah,
guys.
which was it Physiology of Weddings podcast
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
up. Um, yeah, before we start, as always, we're sponsored by Saw. Um, as we mentioned the last few weeks, we have our Saw times the Physiology of Endurance Running podcast giveaway. There'll be a link in the show notes. There'll be a link on our socials. Literally just need to give them your email address. And then at the end of December, you could win a £250 gift card. There's also the PB giveaway with Saw. So if you run a marathon PB and you send in evidence of the PB and a photo of you during, I think, or after the race, you can get £50 to spend with Saw. We would highly recommend. We've just got a little bit more gear. I've just got a pair of the marathon split shorts. I've been wearing the marathon half tights up until now, which are fantastic. They will be mentioned in my long run this weekend for the past week. But the split shorts are also class. They're so comfy. I even watched. I've said this before, but the designer notes that like Tim Saw does on the website, which is him talking through each piece and how they designed it. They're just fascinating. They're so good. Like the Saw short, the marathon shorts. Like I'm paraphrasing. Go watch it, but they started with the liner. That was what they designed first, and they designed it to not have any seams on the front. And then the liner is infused with like aloe to help reduce chafing. And then it's just all these little things where you're just like, oh yeah, if you remove the seam on the front of a liner in a pair of shorts, then it won't chafe. Like, and then how do you technically do that? And it's just
I
hearing
didn't
him
know,
talk through.
I did not know that
Oh,
existed. I spent
go.
hours browsing the website. Haven't seen that.
Oh, you need to go have a look. Like, yeah, go have a look at. If you're like, oh, I'm wondering about this. Like, go have a look at the video. Yeah, they're a couple of minutes long of just Tim talking through how they designed the garment and what their thinking was designing it, which then helps you understand how to use the garment
Yeah,
or what it's really designed for as well, which I think is really cool. But yeah, no, we've got some more gear to try out. You're going to try out some, I think, in the next few
that's the
days.
first time I've ever had any Saw kit, so I'm actually really excited to use it. I've been examining it closely. I've got a session tomorrow, so I've got the marathon split shorts and this really cool white t-shirt with some like pattern at the top, which I think looks like really jazzy. So I'm excited to try that, and some really nice. Is it merino wool? Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
yeah, merino ball. Yeah, yeah.
um, top, which I think will be a great base layer. Now it's getting a bit chilly. Although we were saying earlier, like it's kind of like deceiving out there at the moment. Like in the morning, you think it's going to be freezing and it's hot, but
Yeah,
then this afternoon it was like actually quite cold.
yeah. That's where layering. That's what we were talking about,
Yeah,
right? Layering,
yeah,
layering saw layers. But yeah, no. Thank you to Saw as always. Like we love the kit. And yeah, we want you to try it out as well. So yeah, check out the giveaway, check out the PB rewards, and yeah, check out Saw because I think it's nice to browse the website. I think it's makes you feel like it's a nice
definitely.
part of running. I think.
Oh yeah. If you anything like me, the basket gets filled with like hundreds of items, then I have to go through and actually select the ones I really want.
I didn't used to do that until maybe the past 6 months, and then yeah, I do the same now. Just whenever I'm buying clothes, like I'll fill the basket up and then figure out what I actually
Yeah.
what I need. Yeah.
Look, assess the budget and think, okay, I can handle that.
Cool. So yeah, I guess the podcast is this week is 8 weeks to go, but we're gonna cover 9 and 8 weeks for Jen because she missed last week. So that would be I've got the correct week, but I need to get the
I think it's the 29th
29th of September.
September. Yeah.
So yeah, just for anyone listening, Jen is going to cover 2 weeks worth of training, and then I'll just do a single week. Yeah, this might get confusing, but I don't know. We can perfect it this week, and then next week when Dan's back, he'll have to do the same. So
You can learn from our notes.
yeah, learn from our mistakes. But yeah, do you want to? Yeah, I guess kick us off. I guess also this would be coming off of the back of that 6 by 10 minutes session that we did
Yes.
on the Sunday,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
And you talked about that last week, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So yeah, I did the 6 by 10 minutes of Owain on the Sunday, and I think we were both kind of just getting through it, surviving. So yeah, came off the back of that, and then the Monday morning started with just an hour's run. I've got a photo on my Strava of the bay. I think it was like one of those mornings where it was like 8:30 in the morning. The sun had just come up. It was banging. And like weirdly, and I was saying this to you the other day, like I come off those long runs and actually I feel fine on a Monday morning. Like I'm like pinging along, but then by the time the afternoon hits, ooh, yeah, it's not great.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, should we? I mean, we'll talk about it now. You brought it up. Like we were mentioning when we ran last night as well. So it's me, you, and Disco.
yeah,
Your husband now, Dave Disco. And we were just saying like the sort of fatigue off of a long run, especially with a session like we had done this past weekend. Like the way it hits differently for different people is really interesting. And like obviously everyone's physiology is unique, and like Dave is faster than both of us.
yeah,
Like, and we're maybe similar-ish, like in the same ballpark. But like it hits. Dave said it hits him in Monday morning.
yeah.
It hits you Monday afternoon, and then it hits me like Tuesday morning. We
It's so
find this
weird.
is really interesting,
Yeah,
yeah. And this,
yeah,
we all did the same
same thing.
run, although slightly different, physiology for each of us. But yeah, and I think that's why, yeah, just following one plan doesn't work, and like you
Yeah.
learn having the same routine and like learning how you respond to training, I think is really important to then modify it as well.
Absolutely. And also like not to panic, because I'll go out on a Monday afternoon and I will feel horrendous and I'll be like, well, on this week I had a session to do the next day and I was like, I'm not going to be able to survive. Like I'm not going to get to Tuesday morning and feel good to go. But it's like believing and knowing that actually once I've had another night's sleep, I get up in the morning, I'll be absolutely fine. And it was the case. So Monday night I did another 45-minute easy run, and then Tuesday morning got up and I had 10 by a mile off 30 seconds, which went way better than I thought. The warm up felt horrendous, but once I got going, I felt all right. And I did write in my notes on Strava, legs tired, but body felt okay. Okay, not in the oven yet.
I think that's what set Jake off, wasn't it?
I think it did. That triggered him a little bit.
Because I'd mentioned the oven the day before. And then,
Yeah, just doesn't like the oven. So I used if anyone's done like the Podium 5K in Cardiff, I used the mile loop there. So 10 by a mile, it's basically just 10 by a lap of the loop. And I think I averaged 5:38. And I did take my lactates on this, and it was probably the best I'd ever done them, to be honest. I'm trying to find them here. So I took my lactate after the 5th rep, and I did that was 3.1, and then at the end it was 2.9.
Nice.
So for someone who used to like just rise, the lactate would rise, whatever, to be able to stabilize it at that, I was really pleased. And I think that's kind of a reflection. Like I know Dan was taking the mickey out of us, or out of me, with the 20-second rest on the Ks and the 30-second rest on the 2Ks broken up a bit. But I think like all the weeks I've done that is led to kind of getting to that point where I can actually go out and do a session like that and actually be in a really stable space.
Yeah. I mean, there was a question on Strava from Henrik about keeping the recovery short. I think it's almost like a broken tempo, isn't it? Like you can't run the reps too hard because you have to be like 30 seconds goes so quick, doesn't it? Yeah. So you have to be ready to go.
And I think that's like it's given me a really good idea of like pace management, like knowing how to run a rep which doesn't go off with the first 400 in a 69 and then like just continue slowing down as well. But also like learning how it should feel. And it's like, for me, it's like, actually, aerobically, this feels fine. My legs start to get a bit tired towards the end, but you'd expect that when you're running 10 miles of volume. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And I think also with the lactates, like again, you know, if you got Dan to go do that session at a similar sort of relative pace compared to like his fresh LT2, like you'd probably see like 1.2 and like
yeah,
1.3 for his lactates, right? But like, so yours are going to be a bit higher, but the fact it's dropping is the thing you're looking for rather than the absolute number. I think
no,
that's sort of what we've talked
yeah,
about in, you know, discussing using lactates, like actually look at the trend rather than, and you learn where you sit personally, but yeah, like
like
look at the
I
trend.
remember when we did, it was like, it must have been August, we did 5 by 2K in the
Yeah,
park, and we were running pretty similar pace, really. And I was producing like 4.5 millimole off like a 60-second standing rest. So, like, it does take like, that's like what, 2.5 months, but like you
yeah,
can see the progression over time. And I
yeah,
think it's like, it's what I tell a lot of my athletes is like, these things don't happen overnight. It's like really small shifts, but
yeah,
like you do, like if you then reflect and look back, you can see a big change.
yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, it takes time.
Yeah, 100%. But I was really chuffed with that. So I got myself home, and then I went out again in the afternoon. And I actually met you. You sent me that text message. It was like 5:15. I'd been bed rotting for like an hour at this point, and I was like, "Shall I go out now, or shall I wait?" And then Dave was like, "I don't want to run with you tonight." I was like, "That's really mean. We're getting married at the end of the week." And then this text came in from you, like, "Fancy going for a run?" I was like, "Yes, absolutely." Um, so we did your loop,
Yeah, yeah,
which if anyone follows you on Strava will see it. It happens most nights.
my I just want to switch off on my double and just do a nice loop.
No,
It's a nice loop.
it is a nice loop. It is really nice. I think you're
Yeah.
going to struggle in about a month's time when it's dark at 5 p.m.
I've got my head torch. I'm okay.
If anyone wants to know what the loop looks like, it is literally like a tiny little path with like hundreds of tree roots everywhere.
Yeah,
Navigating that with a head torch will be impressive.
living life on the edge.
So that was a 40-minute easy run in the evening. Um, and my legs were a bit tired by the time I got round to doing this, to be honest, but survived it, got home. And then Wednesday morning, oh, so I made the fatal error of going for a run at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I went up to like Rofe, did a lap of the lake, and then I came back down Cateys, and it was
Yeah.
like that prime time when all the students are leaving to get to their 10 o'clock lecture, and it was
On
horrendous.
on a Wednesday as well, where they only have
Yeah,
stuff in the morning. So
yeah. And
yeah,
they're all like, they all wear their overhead earphones these days, and like they can't hear you coming. I'm like, please move, excuse me. Literally no one. I'm in the road, there's traffic. So I was just fuming. I was fuming with that, to be honest.
just think they all then walk into the building where I work and get in my way. So
One after the other.
yeah,
But yeah, so that was a easy 55 minutes that morning. Um, did that, and then in the afternoon, an easy 33 minutes. Someone someone commented on this run. It was Alex Podden. He said, "Really took that 30-minute. What's the point to heart, didn't you, Jen? Love it." So yeah, it was living rent free in my head. So I added an extra 3 minutes onto that run in the evening just to make sure I was above the minimum threshold.
and Dave said you two stepped him as well.
Yeah, yeah. Although anyone who knows me knows it is like a classic habit of mine.
Yeah,
I think it's because I have like really poor like lack of spatial awareness, and I think I'm running alongside somebody, but actually I'm just a little bit ahead of them. Or that's the story I'm going to continue to tell for the rest of my life. um, but yeah, so got that done on what's that, Wednesday night, and then Thursday morning. So Thursday was the start of the wedding weekend, and we went to my mum's on Thursday night for dinner, and Dave's parents joined us. So went out Thursday morning to do this session, and this is the first time I just could not be bothered. I was like, what am I doing? This is pointless. Like, I just want to, get into the wedding spirit and enjoy myself. But I got it done. It was 4 by 8 minutes off 60-second jog, and then 6 by 30 seconds off 60-second jog. And I wrote on my Strava, like, because I didn't realize, but I actually went Sunday for that run we did, the 6 by 10 minutes. Then I did 10 by a mile on the Tuesday, and on Thursday I did this session, and I was cooked.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
not fully in the oven, but I knew if I didn't, if I knew the weekend wasn't going to be basically no running at all, I think this would have ended me.
Yeah.
But I got it done, and I think I averaged 5:38 again for the 8-minute reps. My heart rate was fine, it was all exactly what I kind of expected it to be. Just could not be asked, to be honest. Just really didn't want to be there. So got it done. This is the first time I've actually ever recorded a session, a warm up, and a cool down all in one. I didn't like it.
No.
I'm not going back to that. But yeah, got it done, and then I took the afternoon off on the Thursday, and then Friday morning, my last 24 hours as a Nesbit. Dave and I did a run at from my mum's house. It's really hilly. She lives in the middle of the Cotswolds, and it's just horrendous. The first mile out the door is you're gonna love this. It's 106 feet of climbing in the first mile.
Nice. Yeah.
It's horrendous. But yeah, got it done just under the hour. Dave wanted 45 minutes. I wanted to do an hour, so we settled on 57.5 minutes. And then we went to set up for the wedding that afternoon. So no more running on the Friday. To the venue, set up for the wedding, and then we went out for dinner. And this was day 2 of me drinking alcohol, which is actually more than I have done for the whole rest of the duration of this year. So I was already suffering by Friday night. Not a good sign for the wedding. So yeah, that was Friday. And then Saturday, so this was the day of our wedding, I managed to coerce 6 people into going for a run at 7:48 a.m.
I think that's good. That's good you got out as well.
Yeah. I was quite impressed with that. It was my brother's birthday as well. So there are some really good pictures on my Strava of him wearing this party hat I made for him with his face on. And he actually took it like a champ, wore it for the whole run.
That's good.
But it's I think the 2-stepping is like a family problem we have, because we both do it to each other. So this one was me and my brother Chris basically 2-stepping each other. And then we had Dave's best man Craig also out there, and he's basically couched a 5K at the moment. I've been trying to get him up to shape for the run, but he hasn't quite been complying to my training. So that he was sweating absolute buckets. He was in the oven by about 1K in. But kudos to him, he survived and he made it. He did walk it in at the end, but apart from that, got it done. So that was just a 30-minute easy run on the day of the wedding, and then it was all systems go from there. 2 p.m. ceremony. I actually, if I look back at the timestamps on people's photos, I think I left Dave standing at the altar for about 12 minutes. Nice. And I think he was worried I wasn't going to turn up, but I did. We had the veil on the wrong way around, so I had to readjust. So I wore heels for the first hour as well of the wedding, which in itself is a pretty heroic achievement, I think.
Yeah. Feet not too beaten up from that.
Feet not too beaten up. I quickly changed into some flaps after about an hour, which was way more comfortable and made the dancing far easier.
Yeah.
And I guess I could have set the Garmin to Strava the whole evening on the dance floor, because that was cardio from 7 till 11:30 p.m. But I didn't, and I was going to wear my Garmin down the aisle. I had been debating it for a year, but I don't think the rings would have been exchanged at the altar.
Yeah, was Dave wearing his though?
No, he wasn't. He actually took it off. So it was my brother who was trying to convince me to wear it down the aisle. It's you could just put it around your ankle, it'd be fine. I was like, no, Chris, I got a slit in my dress. So yeah, I would say the wedding was better than any race I've ever done, better than pretty much anything I've ever done in my life. And it was, incredible. Would do it all over again if I could, but
it's probably, yeah, Good reflection, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I woke up on the Sunday morning after the wedding with all intentions of getting an hour's run in that day. It didn't happen.
No.
I was too hungover. That was 3 days on the trot of drinking, and it was not going to happen. This is I was saying to you before we started recording. This is the second time ever in my life that I've opted to take a rest day that's not been programmed into my schedule. And the other one was the day we got engaged, and then there was this. So I feel like, if I'm going to take 2 days that have not been scheduled into my program, those are probably the
Yeah,
best two.
that's understandable. I don't. You probably wouldn't have felt any better going running, right?
Nah, and I didn't want to do you know when I was like we drove down to Swanage to the pig, and once we got there, I was like, do you know what? I really just can't be asked to go for a run. Like,
Yeah.
why am I doing that right now? Like, I just don't want to do it. So I didn't, pretty much. But you were asking, like, how did that kind of affect?
Yeah. I wanted to ask this, but like obviously with the caveat that like yeah, it's like the most important day in your life. And like yeah, you're obviously not going to prioritize running, but like you're training for your marathon debut, and like knowing you as a person as well, like you don't like taking days off.
Yeah.
But like I guess just in terms of like the running, like how or the marathon training, like how did it feel like yeah, you've got this huge life event in the middle of like something else, like balancing them, I guess. And like, was there any stress, or was it just like, no, it's like, of course I'm taking the day off for my wedding, sort of thing, or like at any point were you like, oh, like should I spread these out a bit further? Like, should I have like done Seville rather than Valencia, sort of thing?
Yeah.
Or yeah,
Well, because originally I was going to do Berlin, because that was like
yeah,
2 weeks beforehand. I was like, okay, that fits really well. I'll do Berlin, and then I won't be running, so it'll be fine. And then like I got like a few niggles like in April, May this year, and I was like, I just don't think I'll be ready for Berlin, so I'm going to do Valencia. And I think like by the time the wedding came around, I'd like fully like in my head was like, well, this is a week that's just not going to look great. Like, and that's the way it's going to be. Like, I grew up with loads of like weird little quirks, and one of them was like, I will never let anything ruin like some like really big life events like in my life, and the wedding was one of those. If I ever get married, like I will not let running or any other like thing I have a hang up about get in the way of me enjoying it. So I think like I just completely like was led by that, and then it was like it doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, like I'm not going to
yeah,
lose any fitness in 3 days. I've got 12 weeks of I think an average of 101 miles behind me. Like,
yeah, yeah,
if
yeah,
nothing else, it's probably going to really benefit me.
yeah,
um
yeah. Like something else to like think about, I guess. And
yeah,
yeah, like I've talked about it in terms of just like my work. Like it's actually kind of nice, like not really giving a shit about like your splits for a session. Like I'm sure on Thursday you probably were like thought about the session for like 30 seconds and then were like, okay, cool. Like
yeah,
enough time to do your Strava caption and then it like
literally,
doesn't
yeah. And it
matter
was like
sort of
on to the
thing.
next thing.
Yeah.
um and like I think because Dave and I work so closely together in planning my program, like it was planned into my program like months and months and months in advance. We
Yeah.
knew that this week was going to look like it did. And the rest of the whole program has been structured around that as well.
Yeah.
um
And I think just to say as well, like I want to ask, like knowing that for you it's not a problem, but there would be people where like they wouldn't be able to do both, right? Like
yeah,
it would like yeah, the idea of not even like necessarily a wedding, but something big that forced you to like interrupt like marathon training would just like they just wouldn't be able to do, like they would just do a different marathon sort of thing. So like
yeah,
it's I think it is a yeah, I think worth discussing. Like it impacts people in different ways.
definitely. And I think like I was saying this to someone else earlier. It's like if I really reflect on it as like a year, I look at 2025 and I'm like, what's the most important thing to me this year? It's probably us getting married. Like,
Yeah,
if I like did something slightly different to what the exact thing I wanted to do on that week, and then I got injured in 3 weeks' time and I didn't even make the start line of the marathon, like I'm gonna look back with so much regret on
yeah,
not really indulging in something that will never happen again. Um, so I think that's kind of how I looked at it. And I think that, like I said, there are probably like some things in life that you've just got to be like, actually, no, this is far more important. If it was like uh a close-ish friend's birthday party, I probably wouldn't have gone. I'd be like, sorry, like, I'm training for a marathon. This is not really fitting in my schedule. So I
Yeah.
think you just weigh up like how
Yeah. Yeah.
important that is to you. Like, I can say to my friend, like, we can meet up for like coffee, drinks, we can go out, whatever, in December, and I'll repay you your birthday then. But I think for the wedding, it's more like, nah, this is only happening once, and it's happening on this weekend, so I'm going to indulge in it.
Don't invite Jen for a night out on a Saturday night. Is what I'm taking from
Jen
that.
will not be there. Dave and I are going to watch Big Sleep. I don't know if you ever heard of them. It's a singer or a band. I'm not really that sure. Anyway, we're going to watch them in Bristol in November, and it's on a Thursday. And I was like, okay. Dave was like, are you going to come? I was like, what day is it on? He's like, it's on Thursday. I said, okay, that's okay. I session on a Wednesday and a Sunday, so Thursday works for me.
Plan it around that.
Okay, shall I get back to the training? So that was so that week was only 70 miles, but I think actually did me the world of good.
Yeah.
70 miles, 6 days of running, 1 day off, but we did make up for it on the Monday.
Yeah.
We were down, we're down on Studland Bay, and we were staying at the Pig, and this is like the area Dave's from originally. So he's from Bournemouth, and he used to run with the likes of like Steve Way on a Sunday morning, doing this like infamous 18-mile loop over the Purbex. And he's been telling me about it. Like, it was like one of the things he used to chat me up, really, was like telling me about this 18-mile run over the Purbex. So he took me out on this run.
I was going to say, that's not dating tips. Don't.
No one else follow that advice. So he took me
I used
out.
to run with Steve Way.
Yeah, literally.
No
So he
offense, Steve Way.
took me out on this run on the Monday. We managed to get out just before lunchtime, but it was honestly horrendous. It was so much fun, but it was horrendous.
Yeah.
It was 17.7 miles, and there was like an 8-mile section in it with 1,200 feet of climbing. The first 3 miles were on the beach, and I was being directed as close to the sea as possible to be on the firmer sand, but all I was getting was salty water in my shoes. But yeah, it was really good fun, and the views were amazing. But I think I sat at Alti 1 for about an hour and 45 minutes on this run.
Just redlining the whole way.
Just redlining the whole time. And there's a segment at the end called Hammer Time, and David had been winding me up about it for the whole run. Like, last mile's Hammer Time, Jen. It's Hammer Time. So I get onto this road, like back towards the car, and I am there, like, absolutely gunning for it, like trying to get this segment. I think I flagged like 3 people on this loop on these segments. So I'm like, that can't be legit. So it was really good fun. It was 2 hours and 10 minutes. 1,300 feet, and my average heart rate for this was 165, and my Alti 1 heart rate is 171. So I was creeping up towards it.
Yeah.
But no, it was all good.
I mean, most of the last sort of like 6K was over that, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was like marginally uphill, downhill. It was a bit undulating at the end. But by that time, I was cooked from this 1 mile, which was honestly just vertical. I think it was like 700 meters, but it took like I looked down at my watch. I was doing like 8-minute Ks. And David left me for dust at this point as well. Talk about being nice to me now we're like recently married. He absolutely just left me for dust on these hills. But no, it was good fun and made up for the lack of running on the Sunday, so we'll take it. Then Tuesday morning, got up, we just did an easy 47-minute run before we drove home, and then once we got home, just an easy 30-minute run. So that was just 2 easy runs on the Tuesday. And then on the Wednesday, titled this one 5 days consecutive drinking leaving my body this morning. I felt horrendous, but with about 20 minutes to go, I bumped into Dan. He was like coming towards me along the TAF, and I was going towards him. So I had company for the last 20 minutes, which was good. So that was an hour and 8 minutes, and I followed that up with some strides, just 4 by by 13 seconds. But this, and he might listen to the podcast, to be fair to him, because he walked towards me as I was doing my stride, and he said to me, "For someone who's an endurance runner, you've got some really good speed." And that's just been repeating in my head for the
Nice.
last week. So I was over the moon with
You've
that.
been off the marathon, back to the 15.
Literally, yeah. I think I'm in 1500-meter PB shape right now. So that was Wednesday morning. Wednesday evening, just another half an hour run, and then back to the sessions on the Thursday. And this was actually really fun. I did 8x2K off 500-meter float. The 2Ks were run at 3:33 per K average, and then the 500 float was, I think I averaged 4:05 for those per K. So it was basically like 7 minutes on, 2 minutes off.
Yeah.
But just felt really good on this. And when like everything just feels really smooth. This was one of those days where I could have just kept going, to be honest. Everything, like all my heart rate looked really under control. Like I've never been so like consistent with like the pacing for each rep. They were all within like a second of each other, which along the tap's actually really hard to achieve.
Yeah, you get dodgy GPS through there, so that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
So it went really well. Took on 2 joules as well doing that in the fast reps.
Nice, yeah.
And it ended up being, mixing my miles and kilometers now, but it ended up being 12 and a half miles at 5:52 average. So yeah, walked away from that like with a bit of confidence, and also like thinking back to the week beforehand, like that result of that training session is probably a result of me having a down week last week.
Yeah,
Because
it takes a
otherwise,
bit of time, doesn't it?
yeah,
Like it's not, you don't feel it on Monday, you feel it
no,
days
but like
later.
I've absorbed the training we've done, and now I'm ready to like hopefully kick on from there.
Yeah.
So that was the morning, and then in the evening, just another 30-minute easy run. And then I followed that up with a 25-minute hot bath. The duck was still broken at this point, but since then it has come back to life.
The
So
teamy
the
duck.
team is now thriving again.
There were some good comments on this.
But yeah, so the the duck is back. But yeah, I can't believe how popular that post was on my Strava.
I know.
Whereas I got a
Most
text.
popular of the week.
Yeah, I got a text from my brother being like, "Does everyone need to know an updated schedule of your bath time?" I told him to just leave me alone. So that was Thursday night. Then Friday morning, Dave and I went out for an hour together. I told him before we left, like, we're going to do the regular 8 mile loop that we've done for a long time, but we were going to do it in reverse, so we didn't have to go up Cateys at like 8:45 in the morning. And then like midway through the run, he just like went a completely different way, and I followed him, and he ruined the loop. But never mind. That's the first debate we had as a married couple. But yeah, just an easy hour. Then I went to the gym, which was the first time I'd been for 2 weeks, and it was horrendous. But I got it done, and then went out again in the afternoon for 45 minutes with Daff and Dave. This was the night before Daff went on to win the Gwent cross country league, so I should imagine that was due to my words of motivation.
Yeah.
And then Saturday morning, I went out for a 35-minute run. I titled this "Rage Run" with an angry emoji face, because Dave and I had like this debate before I left. I wanted to run 45 minutes, but he only wanted me to run 100 miles for the week, and if I ran 45 minutes, it would have been over 100. So I left the house without saying goodbye and just did 35 minutes, but probably a little bit too quick. But I was angry, so I did it. This also got some really good comments on my Strava. First one being from Jake. I would be raging if I have to run with Dave most days.
Yeah, that was good. I saw these. Me and Rachel saw these at cross country, and Rachel was like, "Are Jen and Dave okay?" Because we saw this and then the day before as well.
No, it's all good. To confirm, we're still like, we're solid still.
1 week in, all good.
Yeah, 1 weekend we're surviving. And then Sunday, end of the week, we did this together. We had a really good group out, to be fair. Like the Ponty group, there was probably what 8, 9 of us, like
There
absolutely charging
was
down the
there was
path.
9 people on the hard effort. There was 11 on the
On
45
the
easy.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
like pretty really solid. It was, and
it
it made
was
it go so much
unbelievable.
quicker.
Yeah,
Yeah, so much quicker. And we did 45 minutes easy run into 80 minutes. I called it steady, but it's probably more LT1. And we did, yeah, the 45 minutes we ran were quite quick, to be fair, 7:10s.
yeah.
But it is
So
all downhill, isn't it? To be fair.
yeah, and Dave. Well, no, it wasn't Dave actually. It was Adam. Just immediate. Like it was strung out
Absolutely,
within
yeah.
about half a
We were
mile, and we were
single
like, hold
file,
on. I think
but
you
it,
said like, oh, we're going like 4:10 a k or something. We were
yeah,
like, hold on, like,
yeah.
what are we doing? This is the easy bit.
This is meant to be the easy bit. But yeah, did that and then straight into 80 minutes at 5:55 average. Which I found this really weird because like it started and I was like, this is fine. And then like 10 minutes in, I was like, oh, this is really hurting. And it's a long way to go. And then like 45 minutes in, I was like, I feel class. An hour in, I was like, oh, I don't know about this. Then like 70 minutes in, I was like, I've got a second win. Like I could go on for another hour here. So I don't know if that's just what marathon running is meant to feel like. But
I think so. I think it comes and goes how you feel.
yeah,
I mean, like, so we both probably sat middle to back of the pack for all
yeah,
of us. Like, we neither of us touched the front.
nah,
Um, and like it was a bit. I don't know what the right word is, but like just because of basically because of the closure on the Taft Trail, like we had to get a bit creative with like
yeah,
places that 9 people can run at,
like
550 a mile or 340 a k on a Sunday morning, for 80 minutes is quite hard,
yeah,
without just doing the same loop. Yeah, so there was points where like we would go round a corner, like a tight corner, or like through a gate, and the guys at the front would keep the pace, but it just stretches. And it's like
yeah.
if you
And
if you watch cycling, like on like the classics where like they go around a tight corner or like across some cobbles, and it just stretches everything. And
yeah,
then at the back, you have to work harder to catch back up to the front, and you just keep doing that, and it does actually like yeah, means you're using more, you're doing a harder physiological effort.
yeah,
But no, I think it was still. I mean, I'll come on to it in a minute. It was such a good run. Like,
yeah.
yeah, it was.
It was like really good, and having the like I said, like having people around you makes it so much easier to start with.
Yeah,
And like I think I was surprised. Like I said to you afterwards, like on paper this looks really easy. Like 80 minutes,
didn't for
like
me.
I was like 80 minutes at like just 6-minute miling or just a bit quicker. Like 6-minute miling in my head is like easy. Like I don't know, like compared to like 5K pace, for example,
Mm.
like 6-minute miling, like, yeah, I should be able to like string a load of those together. But then you don't like appreciate like where it sits within your week. Like this is at the end of I ran 102 miles last week, so this is the end of a 102-mile week. It's after 45 minutes of running, like it's continuous. It's the furthest you ever run at that like intensity during a training session. We went through half marathon in 77 minutes. Like
Yeah, yeah,
so I think like on like initially after I finished, I was like, oh, maybe that felt a little bit harder than I expected it to. But actually then like when I reflected upon it a bit more, I was like, actually, it's probably about ballpark for kind of what we wanted out of it, and then like where it sits within the training block as well. So yeah, on retrospect, I was quite pleased with it. And it's still like I did like we'll probably talk about what we want to achieve in Valencia eventually, but like I want to run like 2.5 hours. Like that's what I'm going. I want to go through halfway in 75 minutes, and 5:55 is like 97% of that marathon pace. So
yeah,
like not that far away.
yeah. And how was your heart rate for the session?
Heart rate was I averaged 175 for the 80 minutes, so that's kind of bang on. Well, LT1's 171, LT2's 185, so it's like like a third of the way through
Yeah,
my threshold, I guess. It started a bit lower and it ended at, I think my last mile was 179 average. So it rose a little bit, but it never it never ticked up like things like used to. I remember doing 20 minutes of effort after a long run at the very beginning of when we started training for the marathon, and I was running 6:25s and my heart rate was 175 for that. So
Yeah.
like I was saying earlier, it's like you can't expect to see like massive changes overnight, but I think if you like track all your data and you understand what the data means to you, you can see like big shifts in like where you are and
Yeah.
like what your physiology is saying.
Yeah.
So for me, that's kind of like that's the main thing we want to get out of this. We want to just get like as aerobically strong as we can, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And you did 6 gels as well during.
6 hours, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
it's that
Slightly less than the last time I
180.
did it with you, which was like 8 gels, but that was
Yeah.
probably a bit. So yeah, 6 gels and just over 2 hours, which is probably about fine.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
Yeah.
So 102 miles for that week. So I'll
Yeah.
take that.
Good
Yeah.
week. Yeah. Yeah. I guess going to mine.
Yeah, go
So yeah,
on.
I'm just starting on October 6th.
Yeah, you've not got the 2 week
Just
review.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, started Monday morning. So the day before I'd done the like just easy long run, spectating Cardiff half. And yeah, ran Monday morning, and I thought like, oh, like freshen up a bit, but like we were saying, like you don't freshen up immediately, and I still
Yeah.
felt a little bit tired. Yeah, so it's like clearly like last week wasn't out of my legs. But no, it was fine. Yeah, just an hour, 4:48 a k. Sorry, we go between k's and miles on here, don't we?
Yeah.
And then in the afternoon, 40 minutes with Rachel, so 5:22 a mile, which um, yeah, that's sort of our normal. But like it was getting dark, I think, towards the end. That's sort of our normal. Well, that's our normal evening pace when we run together. When she runs on her own, she's suddenly like able to run 10 seconds a k quicker.
So what
Um,
you're saying is you're slowing her down.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. Yeah, unbelievably. But no, I think it's because we just both go through our day. It's like she'll get
Yeah.
home and then like she'll start talking about her day, and I'm like, no, wait, like, and then as soon
Same.
as we're outside, as soon as we start running, I'm like, how's your day? And yeah, we
Oh,
just yeah,
yeah.
it's quite because I don't know, you just feel a bit more like yeah, it removes I don't know, like I don't know what the right word is, but you chat a bit more, I think, and like a bit more freely.
I've
So
always found with running, like that's the time where you can have like the most deep and meaningful conversations with people because I think you don't have to look at them. I think
yeah.
you're running alongside, but you never have to look at them. And there's like no other distractions going on.
So yeah, no, it's nice. I like it. I like catching up. Like, yeah, it's yeah. Part of why I like that double is we talk through our days, which is nice.
Yeah.
Um, so this week I knew that I knew that I was going to do one session rather than two, and I knew that probably Thursday would be a lot better to do the session than Wednesday. I mean, being honest, partly because Rachel plays hockey on a Tuesday, and they've changed their times, like, and they finish at like 10, so that means realistically we're not in bed till gone 11.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to do a big session, and I was like thinking, when do I need to set? I was figuring out the times to finish in time to get to work, and I was like, my alarm's going to be 5:15. And I
Oh,
was
that's
like, I don't want to do that. Like, I really don't want to do that. So I decided to do my session on Thursday. So that meant on Tuesday morning, I was like, well, I could probably run a little bit further than just the hour. So I ended up doing an hour and 20 minutes. And I ran this right at the top of sort of where I put zone one, zone two. Like
okay.
and there's not a, we've talked about zone two before. Like there's not a physiological like anchor point for it. I've sort of just found, I know for me, like 145 beats like heart rate. If I go above that, it just feels like I'm pushing a bit, and anything below that feels like I'm jogging and just like
Yeah.
very chilled. So yeah, I think I averaged 145 for this. Towards the end, it was drifting up a bit.
What
But yeah,
was the
so
reason you chose to do that on the
I think just because I felt like I had a little bit of an extra like day, and so sort of thought, well, let's add a little bit more volume, but it's still easy, so it's still recoverable. And
yeah.
it's still like I finish the run and I'm instantly like, yeah, I'm fine. But you're just slightly pushing a little bit more. Like it's not a jog. Like you are intentionally sort of slightly pushing. Um, yeah, I just sort of thought like with one session, I think I can add that into my week quite easily. Whereas if I'm doing 2 sessions and a long run, like it's
It's
just
quite hard
jogging.
to then
Yeah.
manage like another. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Then in the afternoon, on Tuesday, I just jogged alone. So I was just aiming to keep my heart rate as low as possible. That's sort of my game in the afternoon is, yeah,
Is that until
keep
I
it,
run?
yeah, to a degree, yeah. Although to be fair, this week it was really low. So, but no, if I'm
That's
on my own,
kidding.
yeah, it's just is keep it low. So then Wednesday morning, yeah, like I said, I knew I wasn't going to session. And the night before we had recorded with Jake, like we
Yeah.
record on Tuesday nights, and then like you sort of you would have seen the aftermath of this when you woke up, I think. But we finished recording with Jake, and then I sat on the sofa. I was waiting for Rachel to come home, and I was like, okay, let's like edit the podcast, get it uploaded, like edit the podcast. It's about 5 minutes, but I hit play on the playback just to be like, the sound level's okay and everything, and then I said to Jake, "How's it going, Jake?" But he had started speaking 3 seconds before that, and it for some reason the time was just completely out. And yeah, I mean, I'll call out like the system we use, like for some reason wouldn't let me edit it. So I was just having a bit of a meltdown at started at 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
continued until about 20 past 11 when I was like, I can't fix this tonight. Like, just go to
There was
bed.
like
Try and go
there
to
was
bed.
there was a text from you in the group. It's like, yeah, I'm going to bed now. like I can just imagine you like angry typing that.
Yeah. I'd come up with an idea of how to fix it, but I was like, this is going to take another half an hour. Like, just do it in the morning. And I
Yeah.
was like, if the podcast releases half an hour late, or if it releases the next day, it's fine at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then woke up at about 5:30 anyway. Just sort of naturally woke up, but like my alarm was like 20 minutes later anyway. Then managed to get the podcast sorted in about 10 minutes. So it was that was why it's audio only for last week. So yeah, apologies that people wanted to see Jake. But yeah, audio only. But yeah, that was very frustrating. There was a point where I was like, we can't release this. Like we've just spent 2 hours. We've
We've just
used an
got
hour and a half of Jake's time.
special guest Jake Smith on the
I
pod.
know he's not going to tell us about his chocolate Baileys again.
An exclusive one
Yeah.
off.
But yeah, so I was very glad I wasn't sessioning. Like I don't think I would have been able to. Like I was just stressed, and
Yeah.
yeah, I was running and it was fine, but I was definitely stressed. And then I also forgot my torch, which wasn't ideal. So I was running the first half, well, the first 20 minutes at least, like basically blind. I got about 800 meters in. I was like, oh, I forgot my torch, and then I was like, I'm not turning back.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like if I turn back, I'm just done. Like after everything, I'm just done. But yeah, and then yeah, it ended up being fine, but I was very glad I wasn't sessioning. And then in the evening, ran with Rachel again, and she was back late from work, so we only did half an hour. It was already dark when we left. She was
yeah,
tired. I was like the tiredness had hit me from the night before. And yeah, it was 5:34 k.
yeah.
Just yeah, scuffing, I think is the right term.
Different route though. New
Different.
mixing it up.
Yeah. This is our 5K loop. Yeah, but no, I think in hindsight, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have done that run. Like thinking about the traffic light system I use with like some of the guys I coach, but I don't know. Like it ended up being fine. Maybe
Yeah.
one of those things where like actually you shouldn't risk it, but
And it was
um,
like super slow and super like
yeah, like my
breezy.
hips were a bit tired. But I think that's just why I just didn't sleep a lot. So I think
Yeah.
that's maybe like the first thing that goes for me. But yeah, but anyway, so yeah, woke up on. So then the other reason why I wanted to delay till Thursday was that I normally do 8:30 to 4:30 at work, which is that's why I'm out quite early. I was doing 9 until 5, so I had an extra half an hour, and that just
Changed the
opened the
game.
world up, changed the game. So I still started pretty early, started at 6:23, and I had some discussion with Dan about this because he had done a similar session, K on K float, a few weeks before, and I've done this a few times where the Ks have been like at LT2, and then it's not really been a float; it's been more like a jog,
Hmm.
where there's sort of been like 45 seconds a K difference between the paces. But I sort of thought let's slow it down a bit, and I literally just looked on Dan's Strava, but then we sent a few voice notes back and forth, sort of discussing the where to get the heart rate, because it's really hard. Like in a K rep, there's going to be some like quite a lot of lag in your heart rate across
Yeah,
the length of that
it
rep.
takes a while for it. Even if you're running like a hard K rep, your average heart rate's still
Yeah,
going to be like quite low.
yeah. So it was trying to figure out, and basically Dan said like obviously go off heart rate and RP like normal, but it was like use pace as well. So this is the first time I've used pace for a session in like I don't know, probably might be more than 2 years. Like I just don't
Wow.
use
Yeah.
pace. Like even when I'm running with you, like I'm relying on you to say the pace is fine. I'm just going off heart rate and RP normally. So but yeah, so I did 13 by a K on and a K float. I actually started with a float rather than an on because
Interesting.
so because of like even though I had the half an hour, I only did about 8 minutes jogging warm up
Okay.
because I was
So
like
the
I just need to maximize the time. So then the float is like an extra
bit of the warm
warm
up.
up, and I sort of thought like to be honest, like that float is more useful at the start as an extra bit of warm up than at the end.
Well, you
To
always
me,
the
is
float at the end doesn't really count. You just hammer it. It's just like a continuation of the last rep, isn't
yeah.
it? Like, to be
so,
honest.
so I thought, I'll put it at the start. As it turned out, and then my thinking was, well, I can finish on an on and
Yeah.
like maximize my time. And then I had like in my head times where if I was at certain points, I needed to head home to make it
Okay.
in time for work, sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. I had my watch programmed to 13, but I was like, if I get through at least 11, and then hopefully get through 12 and then 13. But yeah, so it was going by pace as well. And in my head, I thought, well, let's say 3:45 a k. Based on what I've been doing other sessions with my heart rate, I think that's like, and then within a training week with no taper and with floats, I sort of thought like that's probably where sort of marathon, like that average marathon heart rate and that RP is going to end up.
Yeah.
And that was right when it was dark. So when I started, I had the head torch on. Basically, I needed the head torch for about the first 6 ons. Um, Towards the, by the sixth, it was like I needed it in bits, but not most of it. And in the dark, that was about right. Like, 3:45 a k, and then 4:10 a k for the offs. And what Dan said was like, like the first few reps, your heart rate won't get up much, but it will start to get up towards the end of the rep, and then 2 or 3 reps in, it will be getting up and hopefully stabilizing is what you want to
Yeah.
see. And then on the offs, like I wanted it to drop, decently below LT1. So LT1 for me is like 161, 162, and it was dropping into the low 150s on the offs.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with how it was going. And then I got to rep 7, and along people that know Cardiff, North Road cycle path, which is where you do a lot of your sessions.
Brilliant.
And a lot of it's like tree covered, and then you come out into like the car parks and the main road into Cardiff, and like the tree coverage is gone. And I came out of there, and it was like, okay, like it's daylight now. Like definitely didn't need the head torch. And then it was really weird. Like genuinely within about 200 meters, like I was on one of the ons, and the RPE dropped. Like the effort dropped. My heart rate dropped a bit, and then I could just easily go through 340 a k, and just held 340 a k or faster for every other rep after that. The last 2 reps I did 334 and 330 a k, and the 330 a k by the end of the rep I still had like 5 beats before I got to LT2.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm at 26k of a session running 330 a k, and I'm not at LT2. So I was really really happy.
Yeah.
Like
That's amazing. That's a really good
yeah,
session. Do you think
really happy.
the the like the reduction in RPE and heart rate and things is because you're like having to concentrate more when it's dark?
I
Like
think you
so,
just you lose the you lose the perception of how fast you're going, because even
yeah.
like easy running, you can feel like you're running quite fast.
Yeah. There's always
Um,
that thing of like you feel like you're running really fast in the dark. I think
yeah,
that's like really important for people to like recognize as well. Because I have like a couple of athletes that train before work and it's in the dark, and they're always like, it felt really hard, or like I didn't hit the paces I wanted to. And I'm like, well, you've been awake for like 45 minutes. It's dark. And it's
Yeah.
like all these other things. And I think people sometimes don't appreciate that. And I think, like, obviously you approached the session knowing that you were starting early and it was going to be dark, and like ended up being like really good because you kind of mentally probably like prepared yourself for that as well.
Yeah, You just I think if you are running in the dark, you like regularly you get used to it. But I think you should acknowledge it that it is going to be really different. Like I'm running down North Road cycle path at 6:25, 6:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
and like I mean, it was briefly on my. I got chased by one dog at 6:30 in the dark at parkrun start. Like
Nah,
it
couldn't
was like
cope.
100 meters on from its owner. It's chasing me in bike ride, and I was just like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, there's just a dog just appearing out of the dark at me. But I finished and I like mentioned something about dogs, and then I got rid of it because I was like, "Let's not be negative." But and then I was thinking like, well, like think of the contrast of that to like Valencia, like how
Yeah.
many things are going in your favor when you're in the marathon compared to that, and like there's going to be a difference in pace and effort. And I was the other thing I thought, like, because I could see on my watch pace and heart rate, and then it was just lapping like every k, um and um like we said with yours, like the GPS is a bit wonky sometimes, and I was just like, how do people do sessions to pace? Like
Yeah.
there was one float where I definitely I backed off like 100%. Like I slowed down and I took a sip of the drink mix I had, like really slowed down. And then the GPS like 200 meters in said that I'd sped up by like 5 seconds a k from the on.
That's the sort
And
of
then
GPS you want, though.
but then it drops like 30 seconds a k, like
Yeah.
100 meters later. And like I know that's happening, but it's like how can you? Why would you ever use that
Well, that's
when
when
you
you've
can
got to
use
really like dial into like what effort you're running as well.
yeah
And I think like it's like you can't take one single metric as
yeah
like the be all and end all of
yeah
how everything's going. And it's like,
yeah
okay, you have to take all of them, like RPE, heart rate, pace. Like,
yeah
is this all matching up to what, or is ballpark of what it should be feeling right now, or is there something really aloo here?
I think like in that case it's completely off. But like if it's like 5 seconds off, like it could easily be 5 seconds a k off, and like you don't actually know. So
Yeah,
it's I don't know. It's just sort of something I was thinking about when I was going through it as well. But no, really 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 happy with that. And like also just I got into work on time, and then it's like I sat at work at 10 to 9, and it's like I've done 28k
yeah. There's
for
probably
the
no one else in the office that's done that.
no no one else in the office, no. And I had 140 grams of carbs as well, so I was pretty happy with that. I had 100 grams in a drink mix in a bottle, which worked really well, like being able to take little sips. So no, really happy. Really good session. And then did I run in the afternoon? No, I didn't. Sorry, I'm going the wrong way now. Then the next, so Friday morning, just my normal hour loop. Um, this is one where like we were talking about how you feel the day after a session or a long run. Like I definitely felt tired, but also like the pace and the heart rate were like really good.
Yeah,
And that's what I was alluding to with the caption, like fit or in the oven with the Timu duck. Like if you're not thinking about it or you're not like acknowledging that response, then you're like, oh yeah, I'm in really good shape. But
yeah,
actually, like that's just I know that's how I respond the day after a session, is like actually everything feels okay, and then it's the next day that
yeah,
it sort of catches up with me. And then on the Saturday, like it feel wise, it felt better. Like I felt less fatigued. But the thing I noticed is like my heart rate is a lot more. I don't want to say bounces around, but it's like if you speed up a little bit, it immediately responds.
or you like
Whereas the
go
day
over a
before, it's like,
slope
yeah,
or something. Yeah,
there's just I think easily responds, and then also I think mentally, like I'm just a bit maybe more like sensitive to everything. Whereas the day before, it's just like I'm just like plodding away, like sort of zoned out with a podcast on. Whereas the Saturday, like 2 days after a session or long run, I'm a bit more like can easily be thrown off by something. I think so.
I think it's
Yeah,
because like the day after a session you expect to feel tired. You're like,
yeah,
oh,
and
this
then
could go any many ways. And then the day after, you're like, oh, I'm going to be fine now. It's like that session I did was 48 hours ago. But then it's
yeah,
like, oh, actually, I don't. It's like not how I expected it to be.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's weird. Yeah, it's weird how it goes. And like normally the Saturday is the day after the session for me, but now with the one session a week, like
Yeah,
getting used to that as well. So it's yeah. But yeah, a part of that as well. I was rushing because we went. So Rachel ran in the Gwent League. Got to see Daff win as well, which is cool. Yeah, good course. So I'm stood in a field in at Margam Park for the Gwent League, and then Dave, well, on the group chat, like Dave sends the session, and I was like, no, sorry, I knew the session, and then he
there was
said, oh, yeah,
panic.
He said, oh, Jen's going to be wearing carbons, so we're going at 550s, and then I was like in the field, and I was like pulled up my mouth on my pace conversion chart, and I was like, oh shit, that's 341 a k. I was like, and I knew he said 550s. I was like, so we're going at 550. We're not going at 555. Um, yeah. So I was worried, and like you sensed blood immediately, and were like getting into me, which
I was like, this is my opportunity.
which is ridiculous. Like, yeah, um, yeah. So I was a bit worried, and then I had taken some food with me to have like whilst we're watching cross, and then I was like Rachel had taken some sweets. I was like, Rachel, these are mine now. Like I was like, I need all the carbs I can get. I was like getting her to go and steal some like not steal like the Croops do like cakes in the tent at cross country. I was like, oh, could you go get me some banana loaf? Because like I wasn't running, so I like felt guilty about taking it myself. Um, yeah, hit the carbs hard in the afternoon.
Feel a bit of
Um,
panic.
yeah,
It was
and
the
I,
way Dave wrote it. It was like full transparency. Jen's going to be wearing carbon shoes.
yeah, I was worried, and like I think justifiably because well, I think actually I said this to you after we were finished on Sunday that had Thursday not gone so well, I think I might have actually just been like, guys, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna get dropped like 20 minutes in. Um, but I was like, in my head, I was like, I was like, you can get to 40 minutes and then see how you're going. And like I was like, if I get to 40 minutes, I drop. That's 40 minutes of really good work. Um, and it's like it's not the end of the world if I drop, sort of thing. Um, but so showed up and was feeling good to start with. Actually, like the 45 minutes easy was even at the start when we weren't running easy. It felt pretty good, pretty
yeah,
chill. Yeah, and yeah, I had a couple of gels during the 45 minutes easy, and then during the hard, I was using the drink mix again, which again I thought worked really well. Just being able to sip on that like whenever I wanted, rather than trying to get a gel in. Yeah, and then so yeah, for the hard, yeah, maybe not the ethos of this podcast, but I had heart rate on my watch, but I didn't look at it at all because I just thought if I see this, it's going up, it's just going to get in my head,
yeah,
and I was sort of like for 40 minutes I can get away with it being a little bit high, and I was like I'll know from my RPE if at 40 minutes it's too hard.
yeah,
Like I know the feeling I get when I'm running at LT2 for a while. Like for me, it's like a tiny little bit of a burn in like my stomach. Um, so I was like, if I'm feeling that, then that's a sign that it's too hard anyway. So I was like, I don't need to look at my heart rate. All it's really going to do is potentially stress me out. So I didn't look at my heart rate in the hard section, which is really annoying in hindsight because then my heart rate monitor actually dropped out, and the fix for mine is flip the monitor.
yeah,
So I don't really have much heart rate data for this. I have a little bit at the start, and it's all below LT2, and in fact, it's actually like really low at points. It's like even below LT1. Um, and then I got it working for the last sort of 4 minutes, and even at that point, I was still like 5 beats below LT2,
yeah,
which was like this is really good. But yeah, like you said, like we had 9 people running 340 a k for 80 minutes. It was unbelievable, to be honest. Like
yeah,
I genuinely think this would be like a run I sort of remember for a long time, just because just 9 of us, and like I said to someone earlier, like just even the sound of like running, and especially like the carbon plated shoes now, like the super shoes, like they make a
Bang,
distinct
bang,
sound.
bang. Yeah.
It's just nine people just moving along in a pack, and no one's trying to really drop each other.
No.
Um, like it
Yeah.
was just everyone working together. It was just so,
Yeah.
like, and I was thinking like next weekend in Stroud, I'm not going to have that. Like I'm going to be on my own. So like that was probably a better like setup in terms of like a race than
Yeah.
like I'll get at an actual race. And it was just just such a good group. And like I said, me and you didn't touch the front. We just sat in the pack the whole way. There was
Makes it
coming
so
out
much,
of
much easier.
yeah, we just didn't have to think. Like just
Yeah.
didn't have to
Just
think
turn
about heart
off
rate.
at like
Just
each minute.
and like you said, there was different points for me where it got like tough. I think for everyone it was about 55, 60 minutes where we were going through the estate around Gabalfa.
Yeah.
And I think Paul said like, "Oh, everyone's got quiet now," sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
and everyone had like,
Banter
yeah,
had
it
stopped
stops.
at this
Yeah.
point.
And then towards the end, we went around like there's quite a tight corner with like a barrier, and yeah, the guys at the front obviously kept going, and it strung everything out. And I remember I looked back, and you were dropped from me,
Yeah.
and I was dropped from the group, and I like worked my way back on, and then I was like, oh, I hope Jen's okay. And then like sort of a minute or two later, you were like back on my
I'm
shoulder. So
back on
yeah.
it.
But no, that was such a good run, and yeah, like frustrating that I don't have the heart rate data for most of it, but the data I do have, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
really happy with it, and pulled up really well.
And I said
Um,
to you when we were driving home afterwards, I think you have to have a bit more confidence in yourself as well. Like you can do these things, and it's not out of reach.
yeah,
You just got to
yeah,
put yourself in those environments to do it.
yeah, 100%, and yeah, like Stroud might not go great, but it will be a similar training effort to that, and yeah, like that's a really good really just it's such a good run. Like yeah, really enjoyed. Um, yeah, yeah, no, good. So yeah, a good week for me, and I actually I think it was
Yeah.
155k, so probably might be one of my
Highest
biggest
ever?
weeks ever.
Yeah.
Um, and it didn't really, I'd say it didn't really feel too hard. Like I'm a bit fatigued today, but I think that's normal. Like we like you said, we split 77 minutes for half.
Yeah.
So like I've run three halves quicker than that.
Yeah. And you haven't run that within a 20-mile run either.
Yeah,
Like you've just done
yeah,
a half.
yeah. So yeah, like really good. Yeah, 151k, 11 hours, 16 minutes. Yeah, and really good training week. Like I think I'm well, yeah. For at least for now, I'm on to the 1 weekday session and then the weekend
Yeah.
session. I think
I think it's as well having the second session as the Sunday run. It gives you license to like push that a little bit as well because you're like, well, this is the second session of the week. Like you're
yeah,
not bounce off that and then be ready to go again on Tuesday to then go again on Friday to then be
yeah.
able to do something similar on the Sunday.
Yeah, I think if I wasn't able to run with you and Dave, like I would maybe still do 2 weekday sessions and just keep Sunday easy. But like
Mm.
I'd like to think we work pretty well together. So
Yeah,
like
oh,
yeah, I'm
100%.
like it's like I don't know. Even I don't think there is a difference. But like even if there was, I would do the Sunday sessions versus doing sync on my own. Like
Yeah,
9 times out of 10. And
all the
like
time.
the 10th time would be like if you like start chucking paces at me and I'm like I can't do it. Um, yeah. So no, like yeah, really happy with that week. Sort of lines up nicely as well with like tiny. Well, it won't be as much this week, and then taper into Stroud. But yeah, no, I think good. I don't know. Did you have any other like listener questions from the
No other,
comments?
no other, just the abuse I got given on my Timu duck
The Timu
diet.
duck. Well, the team is back
The
now, isn't
Timu
it?
duck
Yeah.
is back now, so that is all good.
I think the only other thing I wanted to mention, just because I mentioned it a few weeks ago, was the BBC documentary about the lab I work in came out.
Yeah,
Because I've
I've
had to be quite like
not
coy
watched it.
about what. Sorry, I have to be like quite coy about what I say about my job. I still do, but let me get the name. There's a BBC documentary that sort of explains what I do. which if you're interested, go check it out. It is called, I'm scrolling back a bit, it's called On the Front Line, Inside the World of Body Donors. I'm not in it. It was filmed before I started, but I think gives you a good idea of what I do at work a bit. It's physiology related. Physiology does get mentioned in the episode, in the documentary. But I think that's it. Next week, hopefully Dan will be back.
Trio will be
I know,
reunited.
finally. This feels really weird because this is his baby, so it's odd that
Yeah,
Dan's not here.
hopefully we've
We're
done it good enough for him.
caretaker hosts for the week,
Yeah,
even though sometimes like one of us hosts anyway, but it's Dan's show.
I'm sure
Um,
he'll be giving us some critical feedback tomorrow.
yeah, I wonder if he'll listen. Yeah.
I hope he does. I'll be
I
really
mean,
disappointed if he doesn't.
yeah. yeah. Yeah, I never listen when it's me, but maybe he'll listen when it's not.
When
But
he's not on it.
hopefully Dan will be back next week. Hopefully he's enjoying Spain as well. Sunny Spain whilst we're in cold Cardiff.
Yeah,
I think that's it. Yeah, as we mentioned at the start, go check out Saw. There'll be a link in the show notes and a link on our socials about the giveaway. So get yourself some Saw kit if you've got a race or for your winter training.
definitely sounds good. I'll give some reviews on mine next week as well.
Nice. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Sounds good.
Cool. We'll catch everyone next week.
Yeah, catch you next week, guys.